Law of tort plays a very important role when it comes to law, judiciary, or such like competitive exams. So, in this video, we're going to cover the very important topic relating to tort, that is law of tort. And in this video, we are going to understand its historical impact, its historical evaluation, and what are the things that made the development in tort. So, the topics that we are going to cover in this video, they have been listed here. It is a nature and definition of tort, which we will be discussing in the slides. Then we will understand tort law in pre-Norman England, and we will understand impact of the Norman Conquest, then trespass and expansion of tort law, how with the time the law of tort has been developed and progressed. Then we will understand case of Ashby versus White, which plays a very important role. So this case you need to remember at any cost when it comes to law of tort. So let's get started. So let us know first the very nature and definition of tort. The law of tort deals with civil wrong. So tort is basically related to civil wrong. Anything which is wrong and which nature is of civil, that will be fall upon the tort or the law of tort. Where one person causes harm to another, that is tort. It allows the injured person to claim compensation from the person who caused the harm. For example, A and B is fighting. A caused harm to B, so according to law of tort, B has the right to ask for compensation from A. For example, B got hurt and he can ask for a kind of bandage from A, and also some rupees as well. So that is the compensation that B can ask for the damage caused by A. Tort law covers a wide range of issues like personal injury, damage to property, and harm to reputation. So these are the areas that torts can be covered. For example, if it's a personal injury, if it's a harm to the properties, for example, if someone has broke anyone's car, anyone's door, anyone's garden, or if it's relating to reputation, for example, if someone is accusing someone in public, therefore defaming him in public, on that matter also the person can claim for compensation. It is an ever evolving branch of law that continues to develop as society changes. The law of thought is not something that is static and which has its roots in ancient era itself. Based on the societal progress, based on the changing dimensions of the society, variety of issues has been added to the law of tort as well. Now let us move into the pre-Roman England. Before Norman Conquest in 1066, English law was a very basic and undeveloped form. So here we are understanding how tort law was seen before 1066. There was no difference between crime and tort. So there was basically nothing to differentiate what is tort and what is crime. Both were seen as together, and there wasn't any differentiation was present beforehand. Even serious crimes could be resolving by paying money as compensation. Even if A kills B and it's a crime, but just because there was no differentiation back then, A can settle the issue by offering money to B's family. So that's how law has been looked upon back then. The system focused more on settling disputes privately than punishing the wrongdoer. As I said, killing is a wrong which is harming the society. But because there was no such system available back then, all the issues has been solved within the privates or within the person involved only. According to Sir Henry Maine, early laws were mainly about wrongs rather than crime. So, according to early Maine, there was no differentiation between what is wrong and what is crime. All has been looked altogether. So, his view may be considered extreme. It highlights how different the legal system was back then. So, back then, there was no such legal system where people would be punished for the crimes they have committed. All the wrongs has been seen as together, be it a horrific one, be it a simple one. So, all has been seen as all together because there was no such tools were developed back then. Now we will understand what happened after the Norman conquest. After the Norman conquest, especially under King Henry II, major changes took place. So it was the King Henry who has given many differences or who has given many contribution to the law of tort. Private settlements of wrong were discouraged and royal courts were established to punish those who distributed the king's peace. So earlier there was no such place where one can go and present his issues. So what happened after the Norman Conquest, after the kingdom of King Henry II, royal courts were established where people can go and represent their issues. The legal system became more organized, and the differences between civil and criminal wrongs slowly began to develop. So the legal system has become more organized. So there is a place that people can go and ask for their remedies. It has become more organized and development during that era. During the 13th century, a legal process called writ of trespass was introduced. So it was the 13th century where basically the writ of trespass was introduced during the King Henry's kingdom. The writ allowed people to take their grievances to the king's court and seek justice. So this writ of trespass allowed people to ask for compensation and to bring their grievances into the royal court and ask for compensation and justice as well. Now let us understand trespass and expansion of tort law. Writs were essential. Without one, no legal action could start. So writ was very much necessary. Two types of action: trespass for direct forceful injury, trespass on the case for indirect or delayed harm. Both will be considered. Over time, court accepted new cases like defamation, nuisance, and deceit. So earlier it was only very limited scope of issues that people can go ask for. But with time, various issues has been added. For example, defamation got added, nuisance and deceit. So these are also some kind of issues for what people can seek for justice and compensation in the royal court. Tort law evolved to meet the needs of changing society. As I said, it is not something which is static, which has its root in ancient era itself. Based on the changing dimension of the society, tort of law has been developed, adding many various issues. Now we will understand a very important case law relating to this law of tort, Ashby versus White. So first we will understand the very facts of the case, then we will understand what exactly happened in simple language. One of the most important cases in the history of tort is Ashby versus White. So it is in history that it is the most famous case. In this case, a voter was wrongly stopped from casting his vote, although the result of the election was not affected. For example, A was going to cast his vote but was stopped by the security. But A was about to vote B, but B has already won the election without even having that one particular vote from A. But that doesn't make any changes or any differences to V's winning the election. But just because his rights has been violated. So this was a famous case based upon. The court held that the voter had a legal right, and even if there was no actual damage, a remedy must be provided. So just because his legal uh, right has been violated, he should be getting remedies. Chief Justice Holt famously said that a right without a remedy is meaningless. So this is basically the very meaning of this maxim, that is ubi just ibi remedium. So you have to remember this very maxim and its meaning at any cost if you are learning tort. Uh, this case established the important principle ubi just ibi remedium. So in short question also it may come in what case this doctrine has been established. So it will be Ashby versus White. Where there is right, there is a remedy. This is a very simple meaning of this term, that is ubi just ibi remedium. It also showed that new types of wrongs can be recognized by the courts, proving that the law of tort is always growing. So, based on the societal changes, many wrongs can be added in the law of tort by seeing the changes happening in the society. So, that is all about when this maxim got evolved in this case. So in this video we have tried to cover all the important aspect relating to law of tort back in England, how it got developed with time, what are its relevance in the society, what is the importance of Ashby versus White in law of tort. So we'll be soon meeting with another such video. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe for more such legal updates. Thank you for watching the video.